Others plot to undo what we have built, desperately trying to emulate our progress through empty promises of prosperity. They believe us blind, that our reach has grown too wide to protect. You all have a role to play, and it is time for me to play mine. And remind the galaxy that we can see further than they think.
Paradox wouldn't be Paradox if they were not like, hey, ASpec's on holiday, it's time to announce a new expansion. Yes, that's right, there's a new expansion announced. It's called Overlord, and it's a big one. So the previous big expansions for Stellaris were Federations, which was mostly about the galactic community and everything that touched on that. Nemesis, which one could say was about aggressive negotiations. But now Overlord is kind of going into a similar direction with this, where it explores the relationships between empires that aren't equal, plus some additional things to spice things up a little bit. So what is the main theme here? It's about vassalization and subjugation of empires in a way that you are not automatically knocked out if you are vassalized by a larger empire. A good example for this is, for instance, the feudal mechanics that we have a civic for, but we're never really expanded upon, which I felt was personally something that is missing to the game. And it looks like we're going to be seeing a lot more of that. So what can we see here? Well, vassals and tributes we already have in the game, but that system will be expanded upon with things like vassalization contracts, specialist vassals, vassal holdings, or overlord holdings. I don't know necessarily what that could be. It could work like, say, like a megacorp building or something like that. But vassalization contracts is something that already exists within the realm of Paradox games, specifically within Crusader Kings 2. And there is quite a lot of stuff going on there saying, okay, this is what a vassal can do, this is what they can do, this is the kind of power they have, then they expand or not. So a lot more flexibility and definitions about what specific empires can do. In addition to that, you can then give them bonuses. Say, hey, this particular vassal, what are you good for? Are you going to be generating minerals? Are you going to be generating energy? Are you going to be generating fleet power, etc., etc., etc.? There are many, many different angles that can be taken here. So it's very much about deepening the mechanics behind vassalization and everything surrounding that. So it's a total workover from that. In addition, there is also 3 new Enclaves. There is already 4 Enclaves in the game, 3 of which come with the Leviathan's expansion, and 1 of which comes with, I want to say Federations, but I'm not entirely sure, which is a secret I won, and also 5 new Origins. So the Origins themselves are the big one to me, because Origins are always the thing that add new flavor to the game and new ways of playing the game, which I think is really, really exciting. Some of these origins are actually rather interesting from a visual standpoint. Like, we have some of the icons. The first one, it looks like it's going to be a vassal situation, whereas the second one is something a little bit more psionic. The third one could be related to one of the new megastructures that is going to be added to the game. Fourth one, maybe subterranean, and the last one, it's a group of species, so it could be an expansion on some of the origins that already exist in the game, where you start with multiple species clustered as a group in a small federation. So that's something that we could be seeing there. But what sort of buildings are we talking about? Well, the one origin I was talking about is regarding Orbital Rings. Now, Orbital Rings are a new structure you can put around a planet, or at least it looks like you can put it around a planet. There's dozens of mods that will already play with this idea. And from what I can see from the screenshots here is that this could be very much be an extension to the planet, a new place, like a mini ring world, so to speak. Because from what I can see from some of the images is that, yeah, there are places where you can, in fact, build stuff on here. So, you know, if you have a small world and you want to build some stuff around that, then this could be a good angle for that. Then there's the hyper relays, and as soon as I read hyper relays, I'm thinking by myself, remember Wormhole Drive? Yeah, I remember Wormhole Drive from 1.0. That could be interesting. Hyper relays, of course, also kind of think about Mass Effect relays, point to point. Who knows? It could be something really interesting there. We do not know. And on top of that, a new Megastructure, of which we know absolutely nothing except for a really vague, what can one say, image from a star that is surrounded by some sort of crazy structure, like a semi-Dyson sphere-esque thing. It could be maybe a stellar lifter or something like that. Maybe the Paradox team has gotten quite a lot of inspiration from the Gigastructural engineering team. But still, you know, it's always fun when a new expansion gets announced. We don't know anything about it yet, but we'll keep you up to date, as I have been dragged out of vacation to keep you guys updated on this. In addition to all of that, the new situation system, which is going to be introduced in the next update as well, where you will have a better idea of what's going on within your empire. We will talk about that one very soon as well in a separate video. But a situation system is coming to the game too. It could be like disasters and stuff like that, and how to avoid them. And on top of that, this game has a new game director. The guy who introduced essentially traits in the species packs. Yeah, that guy, the guy behind Lithoids, is now the game director. Exciting times. Exciting times. We're going to go wrap this up here. It's good to be back. And Overlord is coming in our general direction. God knows when, but we're going to have fun with it. Thank you so much for watching, and thank you to my patrons for making this possible. I'm currently standing in my sister-in-law's kitchen recording this because I'm going to go home very soon and dive back into Stellaris. But until next time, take good care of yourselves, and as always, each other.